I don't know how you have your way with me, and time can't heal your wounds. Just have your way with me. Just have your way with me.
There is no real time to say when skateboarding started. It has many origins, influences and roots all over the world. If only one decade had to be chosen for the birth of the sport, it would be the late 1950s, as this was when the first commercial skateboard was produced. Skateboarding can be dated back to the 1930s, with US kids dismantling the handles of homemade scooters to try to ride it without. Surfing has direct links to skateboarding, as in the early 1950s, inventive surfers found out that skating used similar techniques as surfing, and this allowed for surfers to practice their technique on land when the weather caused for bad surf. Surfing is all about harnessing the power of nature, of the ocean, and skateboarding is the same. Although there are no waves, the skateboarder harnesses the power of gravity for sport and ultimately pleasure. And this is our story.
Skating, in terms of parks and facilities, I think is bigger and more healthier than it's ever been. More parks being built in the last sort of 3 or 4 years than almost ever before, I'd say, you know. So in terms of facilities, yeah, very healthy.
As many people know, skateboarding has always been an activity where its popularity has fluctuated due to either a craze or a boom. It is arguable to say that there were the most people skateboarding during the mid-1970s. This is, however, the result of a craze, largely brought in by media influences and also big companies looking for the next big thing, much like the slinky, hula hoops and yo-yos. Skateboarding, however, at this time managed to maintain a large group of hardcore or real riders who were to secure the popularity of the sport for years to come.
If you picked the height of the craze in the mid-70s, there's maybe less people skating now than there were then, but I think if you're looking for a core, committed group, you know, core group, then probably, yeah, there's more people skating than there's ever been in terms of real skateboarders, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think there's probably been times in the past where there's actually been more people skating, but it's been the result of a craze or, you know, a boom.
When skateboarding went underground towards the end of the 1970s, it didn't come back into the mainstream of popularity until the mid-1980s. This is largely due to the film Back to the Future, where the lead role, Marty McFly, makes his first entrance and appearances throughout the film riding a skateboard. When this occurred, skateboarding returned to the radar after being underground, and the resulting boom was responsible for more people riding again. This time, however, more people kept riding throughout the slump and allowed the sport to progress, both in popularity and technicality with tricks.
It depends on report to report. Some are positive, some aren't positive. If you wanted to say overall, I don't know that I could call it really. I mean, skateboarding is used to sell more products than it's ever been used for. Skateboarding appears on car adverts, insurance adverts, I don't know, you know what I mean? A whole host of things that it has no real connection with.
Video games have also played a large part in the sport as well. Games such as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which originally hit the shops in 1999, and Skate in 2007, brought skateboarding to a whole new audience. Now everyone could skateboard in the comfort of their own homes and without the fear of injury. These games brought a new understanding of what skateboarding was, why you would do it, and the pleasure, even though in a slightly different way, you can get from skateboarding.
I think it's freedom, and I think you can find that same feeling riding motorbikes or playing the violin or playing the guitar or you know, or painting a picture, or a million and one other things. You know, I know there's a lot of skateboarders that sort of go, you know, there's nothing else but skateboarding. There's a lot of other things, but you know, as well as skateboarding, and there's a lot of them that are, you know, that can be just as engaging as skateboarding. I mean, the thing that I love about skateboarding is all you need is a board and a pair of shoes, and you can go and skate. You know, you don't need any more than that. You know, you're in the moment, and that's all you're thinking about. And I think that any activity that puts that on you is a good thing, because it forces you to live in the moment, if only for a short space of time. You know, and I think that's valuable. But like I say, I feel the same. You know, if I'm riding my motorbike or I'm on a skateboard, it's almost the same feeling, you know, in terms of being in the moment, concentrating, and the activity being sort of all-encompassing. So you know, there's no time to think of anything else when you're skating, because you have to be thinking about skating, otherwise you're going to end up like this, you know.
There have been many studies into skateboarding, focusing on the progression, who does it and why, and also the society skateboarding brings with it. There is a lot of history behind the sport now, with a lot of major events changing the way in which the sport is perceived. The University of North Carolina carried out a study on sport and found that children who play a sport are less likely to drink, smoke or fight than any other non-athletic kids or those who sit watching TV. In fact, these findings are even true for the so-called extreme or outcast sports that some adults frown upon. A clinical psychologist named Dr. Mathias has also published his own findings regarding skateboarders and their society. He claims that they're out in the sunlight, they're getting a lot of fresh air, they're also getting a lot of peer group bonding with other skateboarders. That's a really good community with their folk. In regards to those who hold a negative view towards skateboarders, Dr. Mathias also explains they see these folk as somehow different. It's not an organised sport like those at school that they go to. You don't take skateboarding 101. It's not in PE.
Probably much the same as it is now, really. I think it's almost impossible to predict progression. You know, I don't know that you can realistically say where skateboarding is going to be in 5 or 6 years' time. If you'd have told me some of the stuff that people are doing now 5 years ago, I'd have been, no. You know, and I think that's the really amazing thing about skateboarding, is that it continually surprises you. And it's so open to creativity that you never really know, you know, what's coming next. It's nice now though that in skateboarding you have, you know, there's not one predominant style. Technical is not predominant, or, you know, vert's not predominant. It's just you can do whatever you like within skateboarding, and I think that's the healthiest point it's been at for a lot of years. The fact that, you know, you can do what you like. If people want to take time to find out what we're about, then, you know, that's fine, but I don't know that I would ever think I had to do anything to change people's perception of me. Hopefully, you know, if you're a thinking person with a brain in your head and we have a conversation, we can find some common ground and relate to each other as human beings, you know what I mean? But outside of that, I don't feel the need to explain what I do or justify it, or kind of feel that I need to be, I don't know, some sort of an ambassador. I'm just one person doing what I enjoy.
As time goes by, memories start to fade. I can't remember why I said those stupid things I said, and I catch myself wishing this was real. I can't explain exactly how I feel, but you know that and I'm still where I should